Hi everybody, my name is Illyanna and I'm going to review some of my favorite EF Ultimate Break excursions. So before I start, I did want to let you all know that I am an EF Ultimate Break ambassador. I applied to be a brand ambassador after 4 EF Ultimate Break trips that I had taken between the years of 2014 and 2018. I had become an ambassador. Since then, I've been on 2 EF Ultimate Break trips, and I have 2 more planned for the summer. What that means is that you get $100 off for using my code to apply to your first EF Ultimate Break trip. So if you are interested in booking after watching this video or after you've done some research, go ahead and click on the link below, and you can use my code for $100 off your first trip. You can stack these deals on top of any other promotions going on with EF Ultimate Break. So if you're currently watching during a semi-annual sale, Black Friday sale, any of those things, you can use my code on top of that. Again, my code is Illyanna100, and you have to pair it with the link below, or else the code won't activate. So make sure you click on that link to activate my code. So as I've mentioned already, I've been on 6 EF Ultimate Break trips, 4 prior to becoming a brand ambassador, and those were Thailand and the Islands in New Year's 2014, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, back-to-back with Vienna, Budapest, Prague. That was, I think, summer of 2017. And then I went on Greek Islands, summer of 2018. Held off a little bit because, COVID. And then most recently, I went to Iceland in June of 2021. Costa Rica, summer of 2021, August. And I have 2 more coming up. So I should be going to Bali with EF Ultimate Break in June, crossing my fingers because there's right now a 14-day quarantine. So that might be rearranged. But then I'm going to Israel and Jordan in July. So I have a lot of travel planned and I'm excited to try some new things. But I'm really here to talk about a few of my experiences on some of the excursions that EF Ultimate Break has planned. So when thinking about how EF Ultimate Break works, there's almost like 3 different types of excursions that happen on an EF Ultimate Break trip. The first type is ones that are already planned as part of what you've already paid. So those are ones that are already on your itinerary. Everyone has access to those. Those are the ones that are just like your normal everyday EF Ultimate Break trip part. The second ones are the optional ones that you'll notice that you can sign up for on your payment portal. So those are ones like wine tasting or a dinner with a family in this location or hiking in the Swiss Alps. A bunch of different kinds you can kind of sign up for. On those excursions, they are an extra cost on top of your normal EF Ultimate Break payment. And it depends on the excursion, but that can sometimes range from like some people going to all people going. It just kind of depends on the interest of that trip. And the third excursion is ones that just kind of pop up on tour. Your tour guides who are with you the entire trip know a lot of locals in the area, and working with the tourism systems in their different countries, they know people who have connections to different things. So sometimes excursions pop up kind of on the fly. They'll say, oh, hey, tomorrow my friend said that we can go on this pub crawl or we can hike this volcano in Iceland. And those kind of pop up on the fly. But I would say the 3 main types are ones that are already planned, everyone's going, the ones that EF plans that you have to pay an extra payment for, and then ones that your tour guide just kind of springs up and says, hey, let's do this tomorrow. And all have been equally as fun. So I'm going to be looking at my notes because I want to make sure that I get to every piece that I have planned to talk about. But I would say that there are 4 main types of excursions I've experienced on my EF Ultimate Break trips. So if I'm putting them into categories of like things that you can do, one is like a relaxation type of excursion. One is history and culture. My favorite part about EF Ultimate Break is that EF stands for education first. And being a teacher, I feel like I'm a lifelong learner. I know I've said that before, but that's kind of what I identify as. And so the history and the culture are a lot of my favorite parts of the trip. Then I would say have like boating and party times. I put boating and party together because somehow those 2 things have always been paired in my EF trips. But then there's like the party scene, the boating scene. And then I would say nature. So of the 4 that I've experienced, they are under the categories relaxation, history and culture, boating and party, and nature. And I'm going to talk about a few different experiences in each of those. So the first one I'm categorizing as relaxation. That's always a nice little break in between some different, more interactive, high activities. In Vienna, Budapest, and Prague, I got to go into the thermal baths there. I'm going to put the name of the baths on the screen just because I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that and I don't want to mess it up. But this was just a really cool, like, relaxation pool in the city. We did have to pay our entrance fee when we got to the location. This one wasn't included in EF Ultimate Break's trip, but it was kind of an option. But the option wasn't paid for through EF Ultimate Break. So that was back in 2018. So I'm not sure if that has changed at all, but really loved that excursion. The next one I would consider relaxation was in Iceland. We got to go to the Blue Lagoon. This one was paid for by EF Ultimate Break. So this was part of the trip and payment that I had already paid for. When we got there, you had a shower, change to your swim clothes, and then you were able to soak in the bath. So this was really relaxing. You got to mud masks. You could choose from different things to drink. I had a hard cider there, but just kind of a nice relaxation day planned for our Iceland trip when most of it was like hiking in nature. The next tour that I really loved based on relaxation was the Baldy Hot Springs in Costa Rica. I unfortunately don't have any of my own pictures because it was a total hot springs. Like you couldn't really bring your phone anywhere. So I'm going to provide you some pictures from friends and places that I've seen online. But this bath was so nice. It had like 40 pools, all varying temperatures, which was really cool. Every section had a bar that you could kind of hang out and order some drinks and explore. But this one was in Costa Rica, and this one was included as part of our EF Ultimate Break purchase. So this one definitely hit up if you're going. In the second category that I have created, I honestly background. I took all of my favorite excursions, wrote them on a list, and tried to categorize because I'm like a teacher. I'm very type A. There needs to be organization. But this is what I came up with. So the next category is history and culture. One of them I went on to when I went to Thailand to the islands. And these were all of the temples. Again, I'm going to post the name next to the pictures that I show you just because I don't want to mispronounce anything. These temples were, absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like this in real life. And so just Thailand obviously is completely different from a lot of European countries that I've traveled. So to see something as old as this was so close up and just kind of be in this like spiritual environment to me was really, really cool. We had to take our shoes off when entering the temple. We just got to see a lot of, tradition. Highly, highly recommend. This one was included in the EF Ultimate Break cost. Another one I would say that's like top tier would be the Greek islands when we went to the Acropolis. My Hercules Disney loving heart cried because all I could hear in my head was "Bless my soul, Herc was on a roll." I literally just kept playing the Hercules soundtrack nonstop. But I just feel like I was in complete awe. This excursion specifically was included in the EF Ultimate Break experience, so I didn't have to pay extra for it. But you have to hike up this really big hill. You get to the top and you're just like in shock. It was really beautiful. And my last history and culture related EF Ultimate Break excursion, the Dachau concentration camp. It was a super solemn, really uncomfortable situation. You walk in and you just feel a lot of intense emotion. Many people will probably decide not to do something like this on a vacation where they think that they need to spend the entire time, in a fun mood, in a party mood, like you're on vacation. At the same time, I feel very strongly about education first, which is what EF Ultimate Break stands for. You should experience things that make you uncomfortable because that's how we make sure that these things don't happen again. In my personal experience, this was one of the most eye-opening and kind of shocking experiences that I've ever been on. I didn't expect going on the tour to sign up to go on the concentration camp tour, but I'm so beyond glad that I did. And to be able to experience this is something I hold very close to my heart and definitely do not regret. Third category that I've decided is going to be included is boating and partying. So EF Ultimate Break provides a lot of different options for that, and it's usually happening during free time, but there are some times where you can get information from your tour guide about what's happening locally. So when we were in the Greek islands, there were two things specifically that were my favorite. First, we went on a Paros boat cruise. So when we were at Paros, we all hopped on a boat. It was like a private yacht situation. We just kind of island hopped and drove around the ocean, but they provided us these meals that they literally cooked like on this tiny little grill and in like big, like almost like Home Depot buckets. They made this Greek salad that was the best salad I've ever had, and it was literally made in a bucket on a boat. Like, top 10, top tier, top 10. Loved it. The other one would be the Mykonos beach bar that we went to. I'm not quite sure what that looks like now. I'm currently filming in March of 2022. So we're trying to get over this COVID hump, but I don't know if that optional excursion is still included. So we went to a beach bar in Mykonos. I'm going to play some footage, but I can't play all of it. So here you go. It was a good time. The other boating / party trip I would say was really fun was in Costa Rica. This is a brand ambassador only trip, although they do really similar things on like the regular EF Ultimate Break trips. But we got to go out on this catamaran and had a cruise. It was for like 3 or 4 hours. They were playing awesome music. Everyone was dancing. On this boat, different than the Greek islands trip, there were like other people on it, not just people from our tour. So we probably had like 200 people on this boat, families, which was probably interesting for them to be with a bunch of EF Ultimate Break vacationers. We had some bachelorette parties on the trip, but they had a water slide. We were fed. We had 4 drink tickets. There was lots of dancing. This was a really, really fun time. So all of these all of these boating and party excursions were included, except for the Paro boat cruise. That one you had to pay extra for. But all of them, again, totally worth it. And in my last category of favorite excursions that I've been on are 2 really cool nature activities. Actually, I should say 3 because I'm gonna get to that in a second. But Thailand in the islands, we had a time where we got to go to this bay, and I'm gonna again share the name, typing it because I don't want to mispronounce it. But I mean, Thai beaches are unmatched. Like, we got to go and see all these really beautiful Thai boats and have a nice meal on the beach. 10 out of 10 would recommend. We also, in Iceland, in the nature category, got to see the waterfalls. Again, I mentioned this in my Iceland video. I never considered myself a nature person, but these waterfalls were incredible. Just to be able to see them up close, and you don't realize how massive they are until you get there. Loved it. But I would say my favorite nature experience by far has been hiking the volcano in Iceland. I don't think it's active anymore, so unfortunately, it might not be something you're able to experience on your lifetime, but to be able to see this all like in real time happening, hearing the lava flow, like smelling the sulfur, by far one of my favorite things. In regards to the bay in Thailand and the waterfalls, those were included in the EF Ultimate Break pricing. The volcano tour, however, was not. That was not even an optional option. That was through the EF website. Our tour guide just happened to know somebody who did these tours. The volcano started erupting like weeks before we got there. We kind of went there in June of 2021, so kind of in peak lava flow time. And then I think the volcano has unfortunately stopped. So that just wouldn't be something that you're able to do quite yet. But definitely hit up your tour guides about different excursions that they know around the area, and they will definitely hook you up. Overall, when it comes to EF Ultimate Break excursions, all of the ones that I have gone on that have been included or not included and I've had to pay extra for have all been worth it. Again, I try to do as many experiences as possible. I'm not the biggest relaxation vacationer. I like to be kind of go on the road. But if you have any ideas of wanting any feedback of any excursions that you've signed up for, or you haven't signed up for an EF Ultimate Break trip and are interested in trying one, feel free to DM me on Instagram and let me know kind of what your ideas are, and I can help you filter through what you're interested in. Again, you are welcome to use my code. That is UA Illyanna100 for $100 off your first trip. And you have to use the link below in order to activate that code, so make sure you do that as well. Again, reach out to me if you're interested in trying something or have any questions on any of the trips that I've talked about that I've been on. I'm going to list those kind of going off on the next screen so you can kind of see what I've done and what you might be interested in. But again, feel free to let me know, and I'd love to chat. Let's talk travel.